what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning how to find the network address using the IP address and using the subnet mask. Now, I want everybody to write this down in their notes. Okay, you need to write this down in your notes. And we're going to build on this, okay? So the definition of the network address is when all of the host bits are off, okay? All of the host bits are off. And I think it's next week we're going to add to these definitions, okay? So we're going to look at the network address, and it's when we turn all the host bits off. What we're going to learn next week is how to find the first usable address, the last usable address, and the broadcast. Okay, and who can tell me what a broadcast is? What is a broadcast? Yes, Oscar, exactly right. It's a message to everybody, right? So if I wanted to send a message to all of you, I would broadcast it to all of you. Now, what if I just wanted to send a message to people whose names started between A and L? What kind of a message would that be if I just wanted to send some people a message? That would be a multicast. Exactly right. That would be a multicast. Good. All right. So let's go ahead and figure out how to find a network address. So right here, if I have an IP address of 192.168.1.25 and a /24, somebody tell me in decimal, what is my subnet mask in decimal? Actually, everybody just put it in the chat box. Everybody answer. Yes. Right? So what we want to do is we want to figure out what the network address is. So the first thing we do is we put everything into binary. Now, you might already have practiced this enough where you don't need to convert things to binary, and that's totally okay if you don't, but we're going to use binary today, okay? And eventually your brain will actually just start doing this without needing to convert it into binary, okay? So now I'm going to, here's my IP address. Do we all agree? Here's my 192, and then my 168, right? And then my 1, so here's my first octet, which is 192. Here's my second octet, which is 168, 1, and then 25, right? Okay, so then my subnet mask in binary is going to be 255.255.255.0. Now right here, remember, what did I say we could think of as the subnet mask? We could easily do Boolean right now. Okay, we could do Boolean right now and figure out the IP address, or we could kind of use a shortcut version. So if I did Boolean, what is 1 and 1? 1. And then 1 and 1? 1. How about 0 and 1? 0, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, then we've got 1 and 1. It's 1. 0 and 1, that's 0. 1 and 1, that's 1. So remember, everybody, if we just do Boolean? So the reason we learned how to do Boolean is so that we could figure out the network address, right? We're just doing Boolean here. 0, 0, 0, 1, and 1. Now, what's this whole octet? What's it going to be? If I look at all of these with Boolean, it's all zeros, right? 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, So there's Boolean. Now the outcome, okay, this outcome right here, this is my network address. Here it is. This is my network address. The outcome is my network address. So what have I got? What I have as my network address, if I look at these values, that's 192, right? And then if I look at this value, it's 168. And then if I look at the next value, that's a 1. And if I look at my next octet, that's a 0. So we can use that Boolean to figure everything out, right? So here are my network bits, and here are my host bits. So I now know what my network address is. My network address is 192.168.1.0/24. Now, I want everybody to think back to what I said last week about the subnet mask. The subnet mask, it's like an indicator, okay? The ones in the subnet mask indicate what part of the IP address is in our network. So if I look at the first octet and I see that these are all ones, then I know that this is in my network. Do we all agree with that? Okay, because it's indicating that. Now, what about here? If I look at the second octet and I see all these ones, then I know that wherever there's a 1, that's part of my network. So I know that all of octet 1 is part of my network, all of octet 2 is part of my network, because the ones tell me so. Now, what about over here? What do I know about octet 3? What do I know about octet 3? Everybody answer. What do I know about octet 3? Is all of octet 3 part of my network? Yes, and I know that because of all of the ones, right? So here, it's all part of my network. Now, how about over here, octet number 4? What do the zeros tell me? What kind of bits are all of the bits? What kind of bits are all of the bits? Right, wherever there's a 0 in the subnet mask, it indicates that these bits are host bits. They are not network bits. These are all host bits, okay? So we can think of the subnet mask as an indicator, okay? It's an indicator. All right, so now let's do this one. I've done 192.168.80.17. Somebody tell me what the /22 is in decimal. Everybody answer privately to me. So send your answer to me. Send your answer directly to me. And I want to know what a /22 is in decimal. What is the subnet mask for /22? Yes, Servando. Matthew. Let's see. Yes. So let's see. Hey, Aaron, re-look at yours. It's in the 3rd octet, not the 4th octet. Pedro, recheck yours. Francisco, recheck yours. Okay, so this is when it comes in real handy to have memorized some of those that I advised you to remember, right? When you've got this, what is that? That's a 240. So then you know that you have the 240 and you just need to turn on 2 more. Okay? Yes. So what is the subnet mask in decimal? Yes, Pedro, but add the .0. You're missing the 0. 255, 255, 252.0. Okay, everybody should have gotten 255, 255, 252.0. Okay, so if you remember positional value, if you're not getting good at these, then you're not practicing enough, okay? If you're not getting good at these, you're not practicing enough. It's these easy ones. I know that sometimes it's harder to get the harder ones. Okay, so everybody, what are the positional values? Enter it in the box to me. What are the positional values? What are the positional values? There we go, yes. So 128 right here, right? 64 right here. 32. 16. What's the next one? 8. 4. 2. And 1, the positional values, right? And then here, if we want to figure out what this is, then, right, I've got this one is on, this one is on, this one is on. So there's 240, 248 plus 4 is 252, okay? So what I've got for my subnet mask is 255.255.252.0. So good job if you got that. Okay, so who can tell me where do my network bits end? Where do my network bits end? What octet? Let's start with that. What octet? Third octet. Yeah, at the first 0. So right here. Oops, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Hold on. That's wrong. Right here. There we go. And all of these bits over here are what? What kind of bits are these? Yeah, they're network bits. And what kind of bits are these? Host bits, okay? So we knew that we had 22 network bits, right? So how many host bits do I have? I have 22 network bits. How many host bits do I have? I have 10, right? Do we all agree? So if I figure out what the network is, here are my network bits. So what do I know about the first octet? What do I know about the first octet? They're all on, and what do I know about it? What do I know about the first octet? They're not actually all on. Because look, only this one is on, only this one is on, this is off, 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 off. What does the subnet mask tell me about these bits? Yes, yes, it's all part of the network. It's part of the network, okay? The subnet mask, all of these bits are on, so I know that all of these are part of the network. That's why I've carried it down. I carry it down. Okay, now what about the second octet? What do I know about the second octet by looking at the subnet mask? What do I know? Yes, it is part of my network. Okay, now we've got to do a little work in the third octet. Do you agree? because not everything in the third octet is part of the network. Okay, so the truth is only this is part of my network. Now, look at the definition of the network. The network address, what did I say we do with the host bits in the network? When I had you write down the definition of the network address, what did we say about the host bits? Everybody answer to me what you wrote down. They're all off. Everybody answer. All the host bits are off, so these all get turned off. Anything that's on gets turned off. And see, look, that's what we've done, right? That's what we've done. All the host bits are off with the network. So another way to think of the network is the very, 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 very first address in the whole network range, okay? And because it's the very, 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 very first network in the whole range, I can't use it for anything else. I can't assign it to a host. I can't assign it to a printer. I can't assign it to a default gateway. It's only the network address. It can never be assigned to a host device. Okay, so write that down. A network can never be assigned to a host device. So here we have our host bits, and we zero all the host bits out, right? We zero them all out, and that gives me 192.168.80.0. The subnet mask stays the same, okay? So the network is the very, very, very first address, and it cannot be used for anything except the network. Okay, now last week I also talked about a very important bit, and I told you that I wanted you to start remembering that bit. There's a particular bit in the subnet mask. What is the bit in the subnet mask that I wanted us all to pay attention to and just start looking at it and remembering it, because we're going to need it in the future? Which bit was that? Yes, Pedro. Everybody send me the message. Everybody send me the message. Yes, exactly right. Let's see. So Luis, you said the last bit, but which last bit? Which last bit? Yes, yes, Matthew. Yes. So the bit I want us to start paying attention to is the last network bit. The last network bit. The subnet mask tells us so much information, okay? And it's going to be really important that we start looking at this last network bit, okay? Because next week, actually, I think on Wednesday, we're going to be using it. The last network bit, okay? Now, what is the positional value of this last network bit? So if I have a /22, what is the positional value of the last network bit? Everybody answer. And if you need to, draw yourself a chart and keep it handy so that you can always look at the positional values until you've memorized them, right? So if you don't have them memorized, make sure that you give yourself a chart every class period, because I'm always going to want to know about positional values, and I'm always going to want to know where the last network bit is, right? So for this one, a 22, right, it ends up right here. It's a 4. The positional value is a 4, okay? All right, So again, those are all important things. So now you guys do this one while I'm quiet. So there's your address. So everybody, you do this one and then pop the answer up to me. I want to know, first of all, I want to know what is the subnet mask in decimal. So what is the subnet mask in decimal? So send me that first. Okay, so I want to know the subnet mask in decimal. Subnet mask in decimal. Then I want you to tell me what the network address is. And I want you to tell me what the last network bit position is. Yes. Let's see. Yes, Aaron. Yes, Servando. Yes, Matthew. Oscar, don't forget to put a 0 at the end. Yes, Aaron. Hey, David, you've got a little typo error. Check yours. Yes, Francisco. Yes, Damien. Okay, Aaron, that is your network address, right? Yes, okay. Okay, so once you've given me the subnet mask, figure out your network address. Yes, Aaron, that's right for the positional value. Christian, that's not quite right. I think you're sending me your network address. That's not quite right. So look at that one again. Yes, Alondra. Yep. Yes, Chris, that's right for your subnet mask. Okay, so there's our IP address in binary. Now I think pretty much everybody got the right subnet mask. So it's 255.255.240.0. Now you're figuring out the network. Yes, Oscar. Now let's see. And the last 16. Yes. Let me see. Aaron, double check yours. Let me look at it again. Oh, I have the wrong IP address. Look at me. So look, do you see I have the wrong IP address? It's a 168.200. I have the wrong IP address. There we go. Everybody see that? I had a typo error. Okay. So let's look at everything. All right, so is this part of my network? Yep, this is part of my network, right? How about this? Is this part of my network? Yes. But here I've got to split it, right? I've got to split it. So this is part of my network, which means this is part of my network, this is part of my network, this is part of my network, this is part of my network. But what happens to this guy and this guy? They just become zeros, right? They're all off, correct. So my network address is 192. Then this part here is part of my network, 168. And how about this third octet? What is my network part? It's just the 192 because all of the others get turned off. All the others get turned off. And what is the last network bit? What's the positional value of the last network bit? Positional value of the last network bit. So that's this guy right here. Right there. It's a 16, right? Everybody see that? It's a 16. It's a 16. So here's my network. Look, I did it right there. See how I did it right there, but I got it wrong. I'll fix it when we're done. And here's my host. 192.168.192.0. Okay, let's do another one. Oh, I have the same mistake. What was I doing? So I've got 200. So everybody figure out the network address for this one. And then tell me what the network increment is. Let's see. I don't think that's right. Let's see, 170, 13. There you go, Aaron. You are right. Servando, recheck yours. Matthew, recheck yours. Christian, that is right. Pedro, recheck yours. There you go, Servando. Damien, recheck yours. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so remember, I've got a mistake here, right? So let's look at the subnet mask, first of all. And notice right here is where it stops. Okay? Right there is where it stops. So this is 160 plus 8. Right? So this first octet, it's part of my network. Do we agree? So that's 192. But how about over here? Only this is part of my network. And what is that value? What's this value? 10101. Yes, it's 168. And what happens to all of the other zeros? All the other zeros just get turned off. Then I have a .0, .0, /13. Do we agree? So here's our network bits. So we always stop. Here's our host bits, right? So now, what's the positional value of my last network bit, everybody? 8. 8, exactly right, exactly right. Okay, so let's do a little exercise. Let's see here. Give me just a second. Let's see. We are not in week 5, right? We are in week 4. Okay, let's do this. Okay, if you would go to modules, go to modules. And when you get to modules, go to week 4. And when you get to week 4, scroll down towards the bottom to class activities. And you should see this class activity practice worksheet, determine network address using octets. And when you get there, if you could just let me know when you're on this page, and then I'll give you the next set of instructions. Everybody just let me, you might have to refresh your screen, Pedro, because I just published it. So you might have to refresh your screen. Class activity, practice worksheet. So, and I'll repeat this. You'll see there's 2 documents, okay? The one that says blank, that's just a blank document to help you in the future, okay? But if you would open up the first one, find network address with octets. And again, for those of you that are still looking, it's in week 4, class activities Monday, and it says class activity practice worksheet, determine network address using octets. And you're going to open up the network address with octets. Again, the blank one is just a blank sheet for you to use in the future if you like this document, because it's pretty helpful. Now you'll want to enable editing. And there's 4 problems here, okay? And this first one actually should be a 10, 192.168.24.10. So what I want you to do is I just want you to figure out the network address. So it's 192.168.24.10. Now, hear me out on this. If you already know how to do this without using binary, I'm totally fine with you just giving me the answer, okay? But if you're not good at that yet, then you want to go ahead and do the binary, okay? Well, that's weird. And this is easier to write in, you know, but if you're doing it like this, right? So then, let's see, 168, right? There's 160, there's 8, 24, 10, let's see. And then how do I do 244, right? I know it's on. And actually, I'm going to take a little shortcut. I'm going to just copy because I know it's all on, right? Copy. I'm going to paste there. And then another 244. I'm going to paste there. And these are all off. Normally we do this in class, so we're just writing it down. It's not as complicated as typing, but okay. So do this one, and then do this one, and then this one. So do the 4, and then we'll do them all together. I'm going to go and correct my PowerPoint while you guys work on that, okay? And you'll be turning these in. Yeah, actually, thank you very much, Oscar. Just highlight the last network bit. That's a great, yes, thank you. Highlight the last network bit. Highlight the last network bit. Thank you. Oh, so you're doing it on Office. So like, is it the browser version of Office, Pedro? Yeah. Just make sure that when you submit it, let's see, that your answer, let's see here, that you've got the answer in the, right here for what your network address is. Yep, submit it when you're done. Thank you. Can you pop up when you're done so I kind of know when we can move on? Okay, that's a good idea, Pedro. Done. Okay, I got a couple that are done. Oh, I had my video off. Did I have my video off?
Yeah, you did.
The whole time?
Well, I just figured maybe you didn't want your video on. I don't know.
And miss this mug?
Maybe you was doing something. I don't know. You didn't want us to see or something. I don't know what was going on.
No, I want students to see me see them. Right? So strange. It's weird because like I could see my own self. So I thought that you guys
No,
could
we
see
couldn't
me.
see. You've been on off for like 20 minutes at least.
Oh. I must have hit it accidentally. I don't
All
know.
right.
Okay, is anybody else done? I've just got 2 done so far. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a drink. You guys keep working. Let's see, 3 more minutes, okay? And then I'm going to have you submit what you've got. So Tansy, can you check to see how many people have turned that in for me?
What's the name of this assignment? Excuse me.
It's under the class activity network addressing with octets.
Okay.
Okay, so save your document and turn in what you've got. Okay, so save your document and just turn in what you've got already. Okay, and then let's see. No worries. Okay, so turn in what you've got, and then
Okay, I got
Tansy.
5 students.
Okay, let me know when everybody's turned it in. So everybody turn in what you've got. And we're going to keep practicing this. So this is not the only time that you're going to get to practice, okay? This is not the only time you're going to get to practice. Now, the other thing I want to say, I know it's so tedious on this. Yeah, that's why I say if you know how to do it without the bits, it's faster. It's so again, normally we're in a classroom and we're doing this, it's printed out. So I know it's tedious. So again, just turn in what you have. We're going to do these together right now. This is a participation score, so don't freak out. As long as I can tell that you've done something and that you're working on this, I'm happy. Now, the other thing I want everybody to know is if you're having any trouble with this at all, you need to go to tutoring, okay? It is pretty common for people to like get this. They'll get it the first night and then the next day they'll be like, oh man, I totally forgot how I did that. And then you might figure it out again and then you'll forget again. Like you could go back and forth on this a couple of times and before you finally get it. So I really, especially for those of you that are falling behind, if your grade is slipping a little, do not let this hold you back. Okay? So make sure you get into tutoring. Tansy can help you with this. Chris on campus can help you with this. I can help you with this. Marcus can help you with this. Because from here, we just start doing things a little bit harder, okay? So we want to get really good at this. All right, so everybody should have theirs turned in now. Tansy, where are we at?
Slowly
Everybody
but
should.
sure, there's more. Let me see. I had just checked again. I'm waiting. Oh, we got majority, more people now have turned it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we just have a few. Just there's like 2 more students. So
Okay.
majority of them turn it in. Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at this and let's kind of try a shortcut version, okay? We're going to kind of try a shortcut version of this. So with this one, we've got 192.168.24.10 and it's a /24. So we also said something about things that are at the /24, the /16, and the /8. What is that called? What did we call that when the subnet mask ends at the /8, the /16, or the /24? Yes, Luis, exactly right. Can I get a couple more answers? Good job. Only one person so far has it. Okay, Luis, come on and tell us what you gave me.
So when it ends in like between the octet or at the end of the octet, it's called a octet boundary.
Right, thank you. It's called an octet boundary. Oscar, yes, it's a boundary, okay? So once again, everybody, you need to write that down, the octet boundary. So a /8, a /16, a /24, those are real easy because they're on the octet boundary. So if we look at this, right, and we know that it's an indicator, we know that the subnet mask is an indicator, and I have a 24, don't I know that 192 is going to be part of my network? Right? I know that 192 is going to be part of my network, right? Do we agree? And then, again, I've got a 24, so I also know that's a 255.255.255.0, so I know that 168 is also going to be part of my network, right? Do we agree with that so far? 168 is part of my network. And then if we keep the same logic of a 255.255.255.0, I also know that this 24, that is part of my network, right? So 24. Now the rest, because it's so easy, because it's on an octet boundary, I just zero everything else out, right? Like in a way, I kind of don't even care about these host bits, right? Like I kind of don't care about them. They just become a 0. So 192.168.24.0, and it's a /24, okay? So let's try that again using the 16. So let's try that again using a 16. So again, I've got a 255.255.0. So what octets do I know for sure are part of my network? One and two. 1 and 2 because it's a 16. So I know that I've got, oh, come on. Let's try annotate. So I know I've got 192.168 for sure. Now, it's a 16, so .0.0. What do I do with those host bits to figure out the network? I just turn them all off, so they're going to be zeros, right? They're going to be zeros. So whenever we have a network on the octet boundary, that's actually pretty simple, right? So now let's just do one that's not on an octet boundary. Okay, let's do one that's not on an octet boundary. And let's try the shortcut. Let's try this shortcut, okay? So if I have a 10.178.24.120 and I have a /18, so the first thing I want to know is, first of all, what octet is the change happening in? Like which one is, where do I have to do all the work? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Where do I have to do all the work? The third, right? Because an 18 falls in the third octet. So this is where I've got to do all the work. I already know, because I've got an 18, what do I know about this 10? What do I know about it? Because it's a 255. What do I know? It's part of my network, right? It is part of my 10. Okay, now what about 178? Because I've got a 255, right? So what do I know about this guy, 178? It's part of my network. So far I've got a 10.178, but I've got some work to do in the third octet, right? So let's just do the third octet. Like, let's not even worry about the first and the second one because I've already figured it out. So it's a 24. So off, 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 on, off, off, off. Okay, and then, so here I had 16, right? 17 18. So all I care about is this right here, right? Because all of these, what do I do with everything over here? What happens to everything over here? It's a big 0, right? So now all I really have to do is think about the octet where the change is happening. So what have I got? Well, in this scenario, I've got a 10.178. I'm looking at what's in the network. It's 2 zeros, so it's a 0.0/18. Okay? Because the fourth octet, what do I do with the fourth octet? What do I do with the fourth octet? They're host bits, and I just turn them all off, right? I just turn them all off. Okay, let's try the shortcut on this next one. All right, we're going to try a shortcut on the next one. So we've got a 63.170.27.244. So first of all, what octet do I really care about? Where do I need to do all the work? What octet do I need to do all the work in? I'm waiting for some more answers. It's the fourth octet, right? It is the fourth octet because I've got a /28. That means that all I really care about is this guy, right? All I care about is this guy. And why do all I care about is this guy? Because what do I know about all of these? What does the subnet mask tell me about octet 1, 2, and 3? Yeah, they're all network bits. They're all network bits. So I automatically know that so far I've got a 63.170.27. Now all I need to do is figure out the fourth octet, right? Okay, so we've got a 244, so I know that this is on, this is on, there's 240, there's 244, right? And then I've got 28. So I've got 8 bits, 16, and then another 8 bits, that's 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. These are all off, right? These are all off. And so now, let's see, if I drew my line is right here. Okay, so all I care about are network bits. I don't care about any of these host bits over here. So what is my network address? What's my network address? If I've got this bit on, this bit on, this bit on, and this bit off, what would my network address be?
Miss Andrea, you have 192, where it says 244 in the address.
I was about to say that too.
Do I have 240? Yeah, I have 244, right? Here, let's do it again. Hold on here. Let's do it again. Because I think my messy handwriting. So I've got there's 240, off, 244, off, right? Does that look right now?
Wouldn't
Because
4 bits need to be
Oh,
on for 240?
yeah, I'm doing 224. Yes, you guys, you got me. That's good. Thank you. Okay, let's do it again. Let me get it right. Okay, there, 240, off, 244. There we go. Do I have it right?
yeah.
Okay, So 244, and then we've got our subnet mask. We had 8 bits on here, 8 bits on here, 8 bits on here, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Right, we're good so far. And then right here is where it stops. These are all my networks. So I should have a 63.170.27. What? 240. Because all of these guys are going to get turned off, right? Okay. So again, I want you to just keep practicing this. And when you're comfortable, try shortening it up so that you don't have to do all of the Boolean and all of the comparing, okay? See if you can shorten it up. And again, please get help with this if you need help. And just a lot of this just takes practice. Like after you've done it 30 times, you'll be like, oh, okay, I can do it now. Right, Tansy, do you agree with that? Like it just takes doing it over and over and over. And I know some of you have already got it, so that's great too.